not easy to be a smaller entity and protect your rights, even if it was your original thought, because somebody who has deeper pockets can put you out in just the legal battle.
Bring it on.
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Farley Boyle.
I'm Darian Boyle.
And I'm Jennifer Brenius.
Collectively, we're two sister-in-laws with our bestie.
We don't just talk, we do it. Day, night, mountain, beach, and city.
Get ready as we bring gratitude and attitude to everything we do.
We jump in head first, unafraid, and we're all in all the time.
We bring it on and get it on each week, diving deep into authentic, unscripted conversations
On just about everything. So
let's get gritty.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Don't wait until tomorrow.
Well, hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. I'm here with my gritty girls after a lovely Easter weekend. How you ladies doing this week?
I'm exhausted. I feel like I've been on a marathon of festivities since Christmas time, and I'm happy to be through Easter, but then I'm just looking ahead at even more fun and parties with graduations and summer, and it just, my liver is saying uncle.
Oh, we had a good one. We had a really good time. I started off with celebrating seniors in Baltimore, followed by driving home like a lunatic to pick up a child that flew in for 24 hours. And then we rocked it out at Darian's house all day yesterday. It was cute. One of the girls looked at their watch and said, I can't believe it's already 5 o'clock, because we were having such a good day. And everybody was sad that the day was over. So sign of a great time.
Oh, that was, I remember Abby goes, it's 5 o'clock. We were outside, Jen. We had a little machine that you're hitting tennis balls. Then we had the big net, so people are doing golf swings. We set up a full pickleball court. Our family is very competitive, and it was a all-in sports day, eating, drinking, so much fun.
We were like all drawing and making chalk art on the driveway. It was perfection.
Oh, the chalk art. We were watching the match. I just go over and there was Farley drawing clouds and a rainbow, just like in your world. And it actually, it took me back to you as a child going, oh my God, Farley probably did that all the time.
And then it like caught like wildfire. And even the boys, all of a sudden you see Friday with his box letters. He made his name. We had bubble letter and box name competitions. It was awesome.
So that's
Yeah.
fun.
And the food was great. Now we're on to almost the kickoff to another weekend,
Oh,
because
my goodness.
mini Friday is a Thursday. So what are you going to do? So on this day, what are our top 5 grittiest headlines of the week?
Well, our top 5 starts with Coachella is over the influence. Art and music is taking a back seat. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think I'm always in for a good music festival, but they are getting to be a little bit insane of a price tag. And I saw some of the news about, what people are doing and wearing and eating, and it's just getting inaccessible for the regular human. It really is. It's unfortunate. And because of social media and being able to know everything about what everybody's doing, it's very in your face to the regular human being.
Coachella used to be a real music festival. If I was an artist, well, you want the true fans to come, and it's blown so out of proportion. I think our buddy from Seagirt was there, and it just takes out the regular person that wants to just go and listen to music and be part of it.
I read a headline. It's the influencers Olympic backdrop,
Right.
which is gross. If they're just going to showcase their collaborations and look at me, and get their, in their private jets, it's not what the Coachella event is about.
Nope.
Number 4. Today in Boston, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the start of the Revolutionary War. But in Beijing, the E-Town humanoid robot half marathon happened, where 21 robots ran alongside thousands of humans.
A friend of mine, Chris Horn, if you're listening, was at the parade in Concord. There were thousands of people just teeing it up, all for the 250th anniversary. The whole weekend kickoff leading into this marathon. It's just the biggest rager ever. And then you get the bots rolling down the street. Come on.
It's going to be a new universe with all these robotics. So pay attention, people.
What was the time that they actually ran the half marathon in?
The robot that won. So all these robots were entered into this contest by different robotics companies. So they all had a different look, and they all had to look like humans or humanoids, and they had to be running on two legs. And the winner was a robotics company that did it in 2 hours and 40 minutes, which was double the time of the human.
Who was the Star Wars? Is it like you see C3, running next to you and you're like, can you just kick him and try to short him out?
Yeah, they ran in a separate lane. Thank God they weren't
Okay.
alongside the actual run.
They had the legs that you see people that are missing a limb that they run on, like it really looked
Ooh.
futuristic. Even though C3PO was futuristic in his day, this blows doors on that. Okay, number 3. Who is psyched that the Ice Bucket Challenge is back? USC Speak Your Mind Challenge is hitting towns and everybody.
Yeah, well, Darian and I did the Ice Bucket Challenge, and we still have some people who have not done it yet. So she's going to be nominated by some people out there. Feel free to nominate Farley
Thanks. I've
Boyle.
only been
Yeah.
nominated, but I didn't know I was nominated, so I missed it because it was in a story and I wasn't tagged Ice Bucket Challenge. So
You
yeah,
were traveling because the text was, Far, did you do it? I just did the Ice Bucket Challenge. You're like, what? I was nominated? So you get a courtesy day. So you could do it today.
Okay.
And then there's
But it is a 24-hour challenge, so that's
Yes.
why a lot of people are putting it on their stories. So you have 24 hours to do it, and you should nominate 2 to 5 people. And it's for mental health, so it's all good.
it was 2 to 5. I would have nominated beef. All
Oh,
right.
oh, Beef, you just got nominated.
just got
honey.
Yes,
nominated.
nominated.
Okay, number 2, protein that is grown, not your typical meat and potatoes.
Well, the labs continue to innovate the protein, and listen, it's good for our 4-legged friends. Let's be honest, but I'm not sure if I'm really ready to eat lab-grown
Meat.
chicken.
Well, you look at the strawberries at Costco right now, they're the size of clementines and apples. I'm out.
Definitely not ready to eat
Come
meat
on.
that is produced in the lab. I'm sorry. And I am an animal rights person, but I just don't know that I can do that. It just sounds rubbery to me, but what do I know? And number 1, there's a new law that was passed in the UK that sex is determined by biology versus ideology.
Golf clap. Yay. Finally.
I really think
Well, it's
it's
been a
high
long
time.
time in the making. As you look at this story, it works very much like it does in the U.S., where it has to be upheld by the courts, and the courts change their mind all the time. And Farley was reading me headlines on this story, and she was saying how sex and gender have changed over the last 30 years, where sex, what meant sex, and we were using gender, and now we're going back to the biological term. And I think that great.
What they kept referring to is that a woman's body biologically is meant to reproduce. And one of the examples that I liked was that you can't have a male lesbian. You can't have a pregnant man.
Nothing going against gay couples, gay marriages.
The word sex, meaning female or male, cannot be misconstrued when it comes down to being able to reproduce.
And why did it get so confusing? It's male, female. Biologically, that's what you have in everything in nature. We're no different. So the fact that we had to clarify this, and it's taken 15 years to clarify, and we're still not there here in the US.
Well, you look at like a leech,
It's
okay?
interesting.
A leech can reproduce and can become a man or a female. We're not talking about leeches here. We're talking about human.
And that's nothing against people that are transgender or anything
all.
along those lines.
Listen,
Do you?
I have
But
no-
You're not female then.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what we're saying.
One of the examples were people gone from a man to a female and females to be strip searched. If you're not a female, you should not be entitled to make a female strip and vice versa. So that's why bathrooms have been developed for transgenders or a third type of a bathroom. And I think it just goes hand in hand with this law. And that was our top 5.
We would like to again remind you that our top 5s are just really meant to have you like pull the news and some things that you didn't know were happening, and be aware. Like, I didn't know about this robotic race,
I
and
didn't either.
like how fast things are moving is really, I think, what we're trying to point.
Prettier headlines, not your
Yes.
typical average fare.
Yes.
Right. Well, today's exciting because we started Girls Gone Gritty, and all of you out there listening and are interested in starting a company or a business, one of the most successful tools to protect your brand is actually getting a trademark. It's building a valuable asset, and you really have to protect your product because people hear a good idea and they want to snatch it. And I know we've been in the process of trademarking Girls Gone Gritty, and it's not an easy process because when you go and you do trademark searches, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's using this. How are they using it? So we're going to discuss a way to protect your valuable asset.
And if we think that it's the way this country should be going, I've trademarked many of things. And when you start to scratch the surface on the corporate power and the legal way that you have to do things, and the dichotomy of just branding an idea that is a color or is two words or whatever. And it really is a race to who can get there first.
Intellectual property is very hard to discern because everybody has great ideas, but a lot of times it's reinventing a great idea. So it's challenging. What I want to talk about is what can be trademarked. Words, phrases, logos, symbols, designs, shapes, colors, sounds, products, product packaging, slogans, anything that helps distinguish a business's goods or services from those of others. So that's what technically can be trademarked.
We were in the boat manufacturing business, and our brand, my dad named it Typhoon. But the history of the brand is it was the Ribo Runner mold, twin step, center console, 11-foot beam. And it's beautiful. Yellowfin ended up buying the second mold and producing the 42-footer, which is their top selling boat, which we had the same hull, just in a 33-foot. When I go over the company, I said, I want to get the original name because it was Ribo Runner. It was the first sport fishing boat
by Rybovich.
Right. The first one that came out said, let's call it the Ribo Runner. Why wouldn't we take the name? Because all the followers, the people, and it was recognition, it was everything. So I started getting into it. I trademarked it. As I trademarked it, because Ribo Runners, Rybovich's trademark ran out years and years ago. So I made the mistake of calling Rybovich, sending them information. And they said, absolutely not. You cannot do this. But I owned the trademark. So we could have kept going with it, but they have way deeper pockets than Typhoon.
What can't be trademarked are generic terms, descriptive terms, and anything that is confusingly similar to an existing trademark. So that makes it not eligible, which is why you have to really explain the direction or the nature that you are using the terminology or the word.
Yeah, but to Darian's point, I was in a legal battle with my company, Soulshine Studios, has the word soul in it. And another company that you can probably guess there.
Are we allowed to reveal that?
Under my lawsuit, I'm technically not supposed to, but I'm sure you guys can figure out the large company that has a cycling business that has the word soul in it. They have deep pockets, and they've contacted my attorney and said that I needed to not use the word soul in my logo and design, question the colors of my sunburst, which it's a sun. It's an irregular, my logo was specifically designed for 3 circles. So it's a center circle, an outer circle, and a third circle, and then radiating rays. And none of the circles is perfect because each of the circles represents, the first one is you and your energy, and you are imperfect. That's why my circle is not complete. The second is your family and friends, those you love, those who you spend your precious time with. Your circle, your energy radiates to them. And then that's the second circle. And then the third circle is everybody else. And they tried to tell me I couldn't use the color yellow. So trademarking is funky. And the problem is that you're a small company and you trademark something legally, which I did, and it's all in the registry. The larger companies can search and find you, and they can go after you if they were there first.
And it's easier, way easier now than it was years ago.
I've trademarked several things as well. Chase for Life was the name of our nonprofit. And when you're trying to figure out if you're going to be an LLC or your corporation or .org, you have to do things in a very specific way. If you don't want to be financially responsible for losses, you really have to understand the difference between LLCs and corporations. Scortini Bikini, I had to trademark. And because I had to prove that I was manufacturing bathing suits, but I was going for a tween marketplace. And it was a total niche market. You have to be very specific about how you're utilizing a mark what type of a product you're producing that makes you unique. Got Grit right now is a trademark that we have filed, and I'm sure you guys have all seen the words Got Grit all over the place. However, we're utilizing it in a way that is unique to us because we award a Got Grit winner weekly. And that's somebody that we feel is doing something great. And we have swag that eventually we will be sending to our Got Grit winners. And anybody that feels like they've got grit can purchase them. That's just a great example of something that we believe in going the distance. So it's worth protecting.
Well, yeah, it's a way to eliminate or challenge someone who comes in and says, well, no, I have the Got Grit. You're like, nope, look at the paper, look at the description, and you have to list every single item that encompasses your logo. And one thing with Typhoon is that if you, or any product, if you just change a degree of our hull, someone could come in and they could change the degree of the step by 2 degrees, 1 degree. Yes. Then there goes your trademark. They can copy you. That's why everyone just copies. They're all copycats.
And that's swimwear. All I had to do is shrink the repeat or increase the size of the design and change the colors. And all of a sudden somebody's unique, perfect fabric that they thought was specific to them becomes specific to anybody.
Yeah.
It's a very slippery slope.
It's not easy to be a smaller entity and protect your rights, even if it was your original thought, because somebody who has deeper pockets can put you out in just the legal battle.
Just to file with the USPTO is $250. But if you're not doing it on your own, then you're hiring a lawyer. And it becomes a very expensive, costly fixation.
And I want to thank our lawyer for your help. And
Christine Lefebvre.
Yes.
It's very good to have a wonderful IP attorney in your Rolodex that is your person. She's filed pretty much everything for me in the past. Cortini, Chase for Life. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh,
well, when you think about it, so I've done it on my own always, and it's very tedious. It's very descriptive. Every line you have to dot every I and make sure you hit anything that forward thinking. Going, okay, well, whatever I'm thinking today, what am I going to be wanting to produce 10 years from now? Because you're going to have it. You have to cover every basis. So it made it so easy because, this is so easy. Once we got involved with Chrissy, it's like, wait, no, you need this one, this one, this one.
Well,
and it was even more extensive.
You have to show proof of intent to use. So if we're doing, let's say, koozies, hats, and sweatshirts, they want to see them physically. When I was doing my swimwear, I had to show exactly what I intended on doing if I became a lifestyle brand beyond just swimwear. I had to also write cover-ups potentially and anything, rash guards, anything that futuristically that maybe I wasn't producing at that moment. But yes, you do have to spell out exactly what you're looking to potentially do so that there's no gray area.
And this all gets added into your business plan when you're starting a business.
And P.S., an LLC is a simpler, more flexible way to go into business. If you don't want to be liable for any losses, that's a great way to go. Whereas a corporation is better suited for raising capital, conducting public offerings, and it's owned by shareholders. I always started out with the LLC route because it's more forgiving.
Right.
But if you have a phenomenal idea and you think it's going to go the distance and you are looking to raise capital and eventually go public, you need to go that corporate route.
Yeah. And if you have that phenomenal idea, I think the first thing that you need to find is a good attorney.
So protect the idea.
Right.
The idea and then incorporate properly, because most companies incorporate in the state of Delaware because they're so lenient with their laws. I didn't realize in Delaware's corporation laws is that you don't have to know who owns the company. You can hide behind a lot of things.
Oh, yes.
When you incorporate in the state of Delaware. So having that good attorney, like we said, Chrissy Lefebvre, she was on one of our earlier episodes. If you want to see who Chrissy is, and really interesting story about surrogacy, that was episode 8. So you can refer back to some of our earlier episodes and learn a little bit more about this dynamic human who helped us. But find yourself a good attorney.
If you think your logo is something that is meaningful, protect it. Because somebody else can scoop it up and say, hey, that's a great looking logo right there. And they go into the registry and they see that it hasn't been protected. And all of a sudden they can be the new owner. You have to think long term. If you're investing and putting a lot of effort into something and you want it to get legs, don't let it walk away from you because you didn't protect yourself.
Yeah. You have to re-register it every 5 years. So
5 years. And your mark, which is your logo, or like the Nike swish is it's the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had somebody call me. Don't be scammed either. I let a couple of my marks go. I'm not producing swimwear anymore, and Sportini Bikini is no longer mine. But I've had several attorneys call me to say, "Hey, there's somebody that's got a file down looking for that name. Are you concerned? Would you like to keep it?" Now, part of me did get a little concerned because I have all my designs, I have all my patterns. I could go back into business in 2 seconds. Do I want to save my name and be on the hook for another 250 plus? I opted to let it go because I could always reinvent myself. And that's the thing. If you have brand recognition, that's what you're protecting. If I went into business and continued to do Sportini Bikini, people could scour the internet and say, okay, what was Sportini Bikini like? They'll do a Google search and then can see the product and which department stores carried me and boutiques. And very hard to let something slide that has a history behind it because it really can help you reincarnate something that once was a thriving animal.
No, that's what, when we sold the molds to our boat business, I kept all the CAD files. I just sold the specific molds. And they said, well, we want to use the name Typhoon because you built the brand up, even though we only made called 40 boats. And then the market crashed. So I was in a bad position, but we kept the business going, sold our inventory. And then once we sold the molds, they said, we want Typhoon. I said, no, it's not happening because I still have the CAD files and one day would love to make boats again, but you need 2 million to make a million. So right now, Girls Gone Gritty's got to go way bigger. But I love it. But it is, and people still call like, "Hey, do you have the molds for sale? We want to buy your boat line." I said, "No, it's gone."
Another thing that's like good advice is if you have a good idea and you're starting something, make sure you secure the URL right out of the gates. Even if you don't have a website that is built and ready to go, you have to really have the foresight to think, if I am Got Grit and I'm the owner of the trademark, I would probably want to own the Got Grit URL because now I can direct people there. We can sell our merch. We can showcase all of our Got Grit award winners. So you have to be three-dimensional with your thinking process. You have to think about like right now, the past, the present, and the future, and try to really hone in on all those elements that you want to possess.
All the keys to success.
Yeah, and reminiscent of like the URLs, and it's always going to change. It was back in the day, you would get the 800 number. You'd want to make sure that your
I had
800
one.
number spelled out what you were doing, right? And I do think that if you have a good idea and you're passionate about it, and you don't have the URL or you didn't have the 800 number, you can still be successful if you care and believe in what you're doing. So don't be dismayed if somebody else has a logo that you're like, oh shoot, my logo is going to look like that. Don't get caught up in it, but try and protect yourself with doing the right thing from the get-go if you can.
Well,
There's
'cause
another Got Grit out there.
Yeah.
It's Got Grit and it's an exclamation point, but it's a nutritional company that owns it. And what they produce is nutritional food that they sell that will help you get grit. So we're not in conflict, not in competition with that brand.
And
Yeah,
with
but that's interesting though, because if you look at Apple, they did the same thing with the producing of the Beatles. The Beatles owned Apple Music, and they allowed Apple, the computer store, the computer, obviously Apple, to use their brand because they were like, well, they're in computers, we're music, it's not the same. Hello, yes, it is. Like they took over the whole market, and they would have never given them Apple had they thought that
Interesting.
this is where this was going to go.
right.
And who would have thought to trademark Apple? It's it's the original fruit, right? I mean,
Right.
like, but again, people can trademark soul. And I always said, I was like, anyone who wants to trademark soul and wants to fight you for it, they are the devil.
They are the devil. But
The
that's,
devil.
and a lot of people don't follow through. Everybody has an idea.
Yeah.
And everybody, okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to make one design. People don't follow through.
It's very
It's
simple.
the whole thing. A lot of people are just, they're not that they're lazy, but they say, okay, they don't look forward thinking. So you have to, if you want to be successful, just write out your business plan and always incorporate, I have to trademark. I have to, maybe you have to copyright. It depends. If you have a slogan you want, so much you have to do. Get a lawyer if you can, and that really makes sure that you hit all of the checklists.
And don't
to
be
be
intimidated
successful.
if you have a great idea. Actually, just go right on and do a quick search. It's free. You can
Mhm.
just type in exactly what you're looking to protect, and you will see who else is out there that might be using something similar or maybe the exact same terminology. And you can read about them and you can find out where they're located. Chase for Life, my nonprofit, there was another Chasing Life or Chasing for Life, and they were also a nonprofit, but we had to prove that we were doing life-saving CPR skills and swimming and, things of that nature. And we didn't have a direct conflict of interest. So we were both able to use it. So sometimes there's exceptions that make sense. And if you're not in the same location and you're not necessarily doing the same exact thing, even if the word chase is being used, you can still prevail.
Yep.
So just do a free search and get educated.
Did you ever think like I have the most original thought and then somebody else has the exact same thought at the same time? And that's why you want to be quick on what you're doing, because I still fundamentally believe that the energy of the universe, like the ideas come to your brain through your crown chakra. And when it's out there, that means it's out there and you were just receiving it. So somebody else might have a similar idea, but take yours and make it great.
I'll tell you the hardest thing to do
Have some grit.
is come up with an invention. Now, I
Mhm.
came up with an invention and I had to put together pictures that supported what it was going to be. And the prototyping was going to be so expensive. That was a $15,000 starting point to try to show that my invention was worthy and make it mine. And I decided to walk away from it.
What was your
because
invention?
It was an ice cream cone with a moat. And I called it the ice cream moat, so that when your ice cream starts to melt, it actually gets caught in this moat that you can still eat and it's not drippy and you're all over your kids' faces. But it was very hard for me to get the prototype because it became a very complicated, expensive thing, and I walked away from it. And I think that there is something very similar out there that was a plastic thing that you could put over the cone that came out. So people were thinking on the same mind frame. I just had the name and I wanted to rock, and I'm not willing to spend $15,000.
I had the same thing. I had 3 different inventions, and it's so annoying because I never followed through. And I had one, I called it shebang, took computer pads because I always had shin bang in my ski boots because, as you know, when you ski, if you ski hard sometimes and your shins get so sore, and I perfected them and I shaved off these computer pads and they were this
Where
perfect,
the mouse goes on?
like the mouse.
Ah.
Yeah. And I put them in there and I made them for my friends and I was like, these are going to be called shebang.
That's perfect.
And I never did it. Then I had the helmet covers. I customized all the helmets that
Like
I did.
roller
All my
skate
ski, all,
covers
no,
you
all
put
my
on your helmet?
yeah, my ski helmets. So when I was ski racing, I hated anything that was plain, obviously. So all my race helmets, I would take my favorite pants. I cut silver stars out of them for X Games, and Michaela had a matching one. And I put stars all over my red helmet. Then I would cut fur off of my skirts, and I'd cover my helmets in fur, or picked apart a disco ball, and had
You
this
still
full.
need to do this.
But had the helmet cover. Then someone years later goes, "Oh my God, I love that. You customize all your helmets." And they followed through with it.
Yeah.
So it's the follow through
Wow.
process
and
is
it's the
what you
solving-
have to do.
And it's the solving of a problem, which
Yeah.
inspires
Finding
a
a
lot of
niche,
fun,
marketplace.
right? I had a similar situation to you when I was teaching. I would use paper plates to work your abdominals and do slides with your foot. And I just would bring paper plates to the gym. And they came out with these disc slides
Yes.
that why didn't I think, like, I'm a MacGyver. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Like
so
I just figure out what can work. I don't think about like slapping a label on it and patenting it.
But somebody else does.
Why wouldn't I?
And they're
do it.
they're making the millions. Look at the
Correct.
Post-it note. Although we didn't work
I was
at
just
a,
about to say that.
we
What
didn't
about
work at a
those-
factory that made that like sticky by an accident that
Yeah.
they made
I
that.
wanted to do a bug spray that had these attachments that come out like a straw that get in all the corners, squish back into the top.
I'm not sure I understand that, but I don't want to be a bug.
It was so that you could get into the corners.
If you really believe in something, don't share it.
Don't tell anybody.
have people sign an NDA if you're going to go to a corporation and show them something that they could manufacture lickety split because they're already set up to strike. Just remember, good ideas are meant to be protected if you think that they could get legs, and NDAs will help that. You can go have a presentation with a company and make them sign that, because if they modify just one piece of it, it suddenly becomes their intellectual property and their idea, it's very hard to protect yourself.
I've been working on a project that my dad started with Jeff, I guess 10 years ago, and NDAs had to be signed everywhere. And hopefully this project will go, but you tell two people and another
Gotta be
two
spelled out.
people, and yeah, we're keeping
Spelled out and
quiet about
legally
this, but
protected.
it's huge. I mean,
It
and
could be, yes, it could be massive. It could
sending out to the gods.
Getting jiggy with it.
Well,
Speaking of that, speaking of the gods, who's our Great winner of the week?
Oh,
so our Got Grit winner, I think that you guys probably all could pick if you had to guess. It is going to be Pope Francis. He's 88 years old. He passed the day after Easter. He was the first Jesuit priest, which to me is, it really means that he knew that he wasn't a perfect human. And he owned the fact that he was a sinner. On his first interview, that's what he said. I'm not a perfect person. I have sinned. I will not judge. I've been forgiven. And Jesus is my friend. So I liked the fact that he embraced the fact that he wasn't this perfect person. He didn't live in like the Pope
In the-
pompous.
The papal
Palace.
palace. Yeah, he
Yes.
lived in the back in a cottage. Sorry, he didn't live in the papal
Exactly.
palace. He lived in the back cottage because he said that he wanted to live as God would. He wanted to not live in luxury.
I like
He
that.
wanted to just kind of portray.
He's grittier. He's a
Yeah.
grittier Pope. And
he's a pope of the people. He really was trying to really connect. Like,
he's the first
He
Pope
was
from the
great.
Americas. You know, he was from South America. He was born in Argentina. He canonized 1,000 saints, which to me is a wonderful way to show that there's still godly people walking among us. And I just think that he was the right person to be our Got Grit winner.
Who's going to be our next pope?
all right. And what kind of music do we have today? Dee, I think you are our music selector.
Well, this song came to mind because B&T is about to open. Every time I hear this song, it reminds me of this family who I absolutely adore. And it gets the dance floor going. And it's the littles, the big, everybody comes and they dance, and it almost becomes a sing-along. You're going to get it in probably 2 seconds. All my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine. Teardrop in my eye.
God, you're going to make me cry.
Country road, take me home to a place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
Let's see. John Denver has a special place in my heart forever. And that's the song my father came out of his coma to. My dad fell down the stairs 2 Christmases ago, and I muled in pictures of family. And when he was in ICU, and I was doing things to annoy him, like touch his feet, which he hates. And I played music. And everybody's like, are you allowed to play music? So for people listening outside, when you have adversity, trust your gut, trust your heart, and do what you need to do, and there's no no's ever. So anyway, I was playing music and singing to the top of my lungs, and my dad came out of his coma singing Country Roads. Great song.
Every time I hear it, we dance, and it's just such a happy song.
Everybody knows the lyrics enough. Everybody listens to John Denver. He's so good.
Such a fabulous morning with you ladies, always. And
What are we talking about next week?
So I think we're going to go a little bit on the other direction. And I talk all about transgenders in sports. How do we feel about where sex lies and gender lies in that equation? It's going to be an interesting conversation,
It is.
especially based on our top 5, where we're clearly defining what it means to be male and female in the UK.
And being the mother of lots of athletes, I'm sure you can kind of gauge the direction that we might be going.
Well, on that note, we hope that we've inspired you to take an idea, run with it, think about maybe getting it trademarked, think about who you can work with. And again, if you have something that you'd like to share with us, some ideas on show topics, on anything, we'd love to hear about them, because we're really trying to help inspire you and get you involved in something.
well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Girls Gone Gritty.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty.
You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
If this episode hits home, share it with someone who needs to get gritty.
The 3 Gs. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.